Hello, Pisces. We're talking December 2025, the end of this intense year. And it's a mixed bag for you guys. There's some stuff going on in the sky that could have a windfall effect, like winning some money. But at the same time, you might also need to change your home. I can also see the late part of December into January, a blossoming romance for those of you who are looking for love or a renewal in the affection and love in your existing relationship. Let's break this month down. We're going to be going through it week by week so that you know what to do, how to handle this kind of energy, and time that best month of December. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Lori Lothian. I'm a Western tropical zodiac astrologer, and I use that old whole sign house system, and I love the minor asteroids. If you hang around here, you're going to learn a lot about how the devil is always in the asteroid details. The only thing I want to share with you before I go ahead and to talk about the month ahead is that my 2026 All Signs bundle is indeed still going to be for sale in December. If you missed the December 1st cutoff for the pre-sale price, then you can still get it for a little bit more of a discount, $55 instead of $44, but January it goes on sale for $66. If you don't know what the All Signs bundle is, go to the description box below and take a read of it. In the month of December, you can also buy your individual sign, but it's way more affordable to get all 12 signs with 2-hour video content for each sign, stocking stuffers, digital stocking stuffers, share with friends and family. It's a PDF download with a guidebook for the year ahead, but also links to unlisted videos so that you can watch your 2026 and time your best life. I just started a new membership program here. So if you want to be a member of my channel, you'll see the join button. Just click it and see if that is your cup of tea. Let's get going. I'm starting to record this way early on November 6th for my Patreon community who gets everything early access ad free because I'm traveling. So I don't know what's going on in the world events by the time you see this video. So it's really just about your sign. And I put your sign out every single month. This is my normative thing. And one of the things I want to say about your month ahead before I show you the chart and we go week by week through it is that you are one of the water signs like Scorpio and Cancer. And we've been having a huge amount of big energy called grand water trine. And it's so rare. It's like more than 130 plus years rare, the way it's being played out with the North Node of Fate and Jupiter exalted. And I just want to honor that for you because I know that a lot of my Cancer sign friends, my water sign friends and clients have been under a lot of intensity when it comes to life. It's flowing water, but it's also emotional and it's also deeply intuitive. And it's also very much the substrate of your spiritual reality. And so for you, I just want to say, I'm glad you're getting through this rare once in a lifetime vibe. And we're going to move into the month of November, and that water trine begins to loosen up. And it doesn't feel at all like, let's say, October and November. Good news for you, right? Also for all signs, I want to mention that there is a big difference in that we no longer are going to experience everybody retrograde. So if you felt like you were stuck in a quagmire in some kind of way in November, especially with all that water, I saw spillage, floods, emotions, whatever, you're going to feel a lot more like things start to move forward in December. Things start to go moving ahead. And that's because, like, seriously, in November, we had Mercury retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Uranus retrograde, Neptune retrograde. In December, we only have, Jupiter retrograde and Uranus retrograde. Neptune will turn direct in December on the 10th. So it begins to lighten up. And, when planets are retrograde, we're not really moving forward because they're moving backwards. So that's a good thing to think about. Finally, you know where to go. You're not stuck in the water. You're not swimming on your life raft trying to figure out what to do next. You're going to feel forward momentum is beginning to emerge as December unfolds. Okay, so let's go ahead. I know my camera's a little blurry. I spilled some water during the water trine on my new MacBook Pro, which had a better camera. Therefore, it's being repaired. And it turned out it's just fine, just needs a new keyboard. Bear with my blurriness. I always say to people, it's like, what can you do when a water trine spills water all over your house? All right, this is the sky, and this is December the 1st. Now, this is going to be one of my shorter videos because even though every month I usually do 30 minutes, we have less transits this month. So I anticipate this is probably for each sign, 25 minutes at most, but let's get rolling and talk about your story. On December the 1st, you'll notice that Jupiter and Saturn are still in this thing called a trine. Well, they've been doing that all the month of November. And just for the first 6-7 days or 5-6-7 days of December, these planets, Jupiter in Cancer, right, and Saturn in Pisces are in a perfect trine. So the energy continues from November. but at least now we have Saturn direct as of around the 26th of December. Of November. So now you're going to say it feels a little bit freer, but it's like, what good things want to happen that bring you great rewards that require diligence, perseverance, endurance, and persistence in the house of romantic love, in the house of dating, that's where Jupiter sits, in the house of creative and entrepreneurial projects, etc. Now that Saturn went direct at the end of last month, maybe that thing that requires so much discipline and perseverance and the rewards that you want from them are beginning to loosen up a bit. And it is that Jupiter in your fifth house that can bring you a windfall, but that's not quite yet. We'll get to that part of the sky when it happens. Watch as we go along, and I'll tell you when your best lottery ticket purchase time will be. On December the 1st to the 3rd or so, Venus comes into a very flowing, beautiful sextile to Lord Pluto. You'll already notice she's at 1 degree of Sagittarius at the top of our sky. Let's see if my mouse will work. Up here, and then you'll see that Pluto is here, and the two of them open like the whole month with this beautiful energy, and it's in play all the way through until the 3rd. So Venus is love and money, and Pluto is wealth and profound transformation. And this is, it could be the love of power, the power of love, for example. Those are ways to code it. With Jupiter ruling your romance house, it could be a turning point in a love relationship or a romance that deepens it. It could also involve travel to distant shores and lands. This also can deepen some professional success, especially with the sun up here, connected to backroom deals, negotiations, and increased wealth. And if you make money on digital income borderless revenue, you're hitting a nice little peak stride of ka-ching, ka-ching. Your PayPal Stripe accounts are filling up with money. Again, December 1st to the 3rd. On December the 4th, we have a moon full at 13 degrees of Gemini. Now, a full moon always takes place 6 months after a new moon. So you might want to go back in time. I'm going to move you back a bit. Give me a minute. And think about roughly 6 months ago when we had a new moon in this part of the sky. That would be during, Pisces season, February, March. Hang on. I'm going to lose your ascendant. So I just want to fix that. I want to get the ascendant back in time. This is just a technical issue. So hang in there with me. It's just so I don't lose your sign when I'm turning the wheel. I get that ascendant scooped back, okay, to 0 degrees. Ignore the descendant, really. This is just for me. I'm going to get rid of the midheaven to be able to navigate the chart without losing the picture. So I should have reduced that to simplicity before now. Okay. Now, one thing you need to know, if you're listening for your sun, it's your career and purpose. Your moon is your home and nest and safety. And your avatar in the simulation is your ascendant, and your sun is your deep core self. But sun can bring you into proximity to matters to do with career and purpose if you're listening for your sun sign. And your moon sign can bring you into contact with stuff about changes in your home or developments in your home. All right, so let's go back to you. Like the full moon, 13 degrees of Gemini on the 4th of December. With the wrench in the dining room. And that's your house of property, home, and land, real estate. Now, a full moon is like an energetic completion or a fulfillment, or sometimes like a harvesting energy. And it will be exact on the 4th when it gets to about the 13th degree. And 13 is a number of death and rebirth. So this can portend a closure over the 6 months of follow of your home. And you may see evidence December 4th through to early January that you are going to be going into a new home. So if that is going to happen and a new home is coming your way, and it could be coming your way, then you're going to see some evidence for maybe a change of residence that you might be thinking of doing, especially in regards to rental property, because it is connected to the sun, the house of rentals. So keep that in mind. And the full moon, if you were thinking 6 months earlier, back in February, March, you might need to relocate your property or home or rent a home or change where you live. That's a story. A full moon in the 4th house can also fulfill or complete things to do with your property and land and real estate matters, including buying, selling, purchasing, and completing and selling is not unusual under this kind of thing, closing a deal to sell a home, for example, and that could be true December 4th through to the end of the month. But with Mars across the way in Sagittarius, this also can look like a lot of you are getting ready to plan for or even take a geographical residential change. All right, now we can also move on to December 5th to the 6th. Mercury moving through Scorpio because he had retrograded here already last month, moving through Scorpio. And as we begin the month, by the way, like as we begin December, right, he is in Scorpio around 21 degrees, and he will be not leaving Scorpio till December 12th. So he's finishing up loose ends in your ninth house of third marriages, foreign lands, and travel, things to do with academics, universities, and things to do with judges and legal matters, things to do with books and publications and teachers and teaching, especially astrology, or because astrology would be a ninth house learning, you might be finishing it, or it could be matters to do with kind of really leaning into like visas, passports, and international travel agenda. So that's a backdrop of him moving through Scorpio, finishing up there by December 12th. And you'll notice that as we look at him on around December 5th to the 7th, he's going to flow to Lord Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is here in your fifth house of windfalls, good fortune, romantic love. Mercury loves to travel, protects travelers in the ninth house. If you're in a relationship and it's in the dating stage or the romance stage, this could indicate a chance to travel, an opportunity for a journey connected to romantic love. And it goes back to that, what you might have been perceiving as persistence around romance, because Saturn's kind of getting some side hustle going to help this happen. And with the nodes of fate in the positions they have, this would be a destined fated romantic love story. And it requires some geographical arrangements regarding travel. If you're going to win money, however, and that you can do that with Mercury here, I don't think this is the time. It's later in the month, and I'll share when, so hang in for that. Finally, if you're an entrepreneur in the book publishing industry, a writer, if you're somebody who has an online social media presence, this could begin to really plump that up for you and bring you some luck. But with Jupiter retrograde, it's not so much about the money at that point. It's about you deepening the actual enjoyment of this kind of creative, artistic, and entrepreneurial work that you do, whether it's writing, communicating, publishing, social media, and really leaning into a strengthening of that in your world, and maybe some evidence of some muted successes, but you can see that you're on the right track. Your children may announce that they're having children. Hey, you're going to be a grandparent. This is the classic sky for that as well. Now we're moving on to the second week of December, which is the 7th to the 14th. In that window of time, Mercury will also move into a tighter trine to Saturn. And this is an important energy because Saturn now is direct after being retrograde for lots of time, 4 months. So the end of November, Saturn has got an agenda. He's moving forward. It's you, realistic, sober-minded, serious, disciplined, perseverant, and wise, sage like you, ready to make some decisions with Mercury's help. And so you might be looking at something going on December 7th to the 9th, where you are going to make serious, realistic, and wise decisions of some sort that you know have enduring, lasting value. And Mercury could be, you're going to go travel to see a guru, go to a spiritual retreat center, sign that book publishing deal, pursue that long distance foreign love land relationship. But this would be where everything kind of gels and commitments are made and agreements are formed and contracts are signed if necessary, or flights are booked, all of that kind of thing. And you'll see a grand water trine here. Isn't that beautiful? And this is everything flowing, everything moving with a kind of divine ease and flow. It's not difficult. It just seems like synchronicity and ease and knowing which way to go is arriving here for you. These are all Dharma houses, also aligning you more deeply with true purpose at this time. December 7th to the 9th. As we go forward and we take a peek at the next story, you're actually looking at a very interesting story. I like to keep it very simple, very interesting. On December 8th and 9th, what happens is Mars squares Uranus. Now, that's always a tough energy. And it usually feels like something like a pitting yourself against a wall, like you hit a wall or action needs to be taken, but you can't seem to get through some kind of boundary to make it happen. And this is going to look like Mars in your 10th house of career and reputation, right? In a square to Saturn in your sign. And sometimes it's also kind of like spits out somewhere else. And with Mars ruling your financial house, the kind of money you earn and the money that you make because you're earning money, and also your international travel house. Even though I can see that you might travel internationally, there could be some kind of block here, some kind of frustration that you experience getting it off the ground. And with Venus with Mars, it could be because of a problem in a romantic life story that leads to some destabilization of your romantic life, your travel plans, your legal affairs going well in a lawsuit, and some kind of block. Now, the other thing is, because Mars rules your money house and he's in the career house, if there was any kind of job opportunity that Mercury's been kind of gin up for you from foreign lands and shores, then at this time it kind of goes off the rails a bit and you'll have to wait it out. It doesn't mean it's going to stop it from going forward. It may just have to wait for Mars to get into Capricorn. So there could be some blockage there. Breathe through it. December 8th to the 9th. Solar figure. Could be a dad, could be authority figure, could be a boss, could be implicated in stalling you out and making you feel frustrated about something you're trying to achieve. In the case you work for a company and you have a job, you might find yourself faced with a power struggle. You know what you want. Your boss wants to do something different. You could quit or they could quit you. Those are vibes around there, December 7th to 9th. And it's going to come back and get you again at the end of the month in a new way, around December 30th, but wait till we get there. And here's the really interesting part of the story. This is when Mercury goes opposite Uranus. He did that in November when he was moving direct around the 19th. So you want to take yourself back to around the 19th, 20th of November. This is a redo energetically. And this can really be a kind of exciting, exhilarating, I don't know, those are the best words I have. Exciting, exhilarating, vibrational frequency around something to do with a surprise, unexpected, travel, legal, publishing, writing, communicating, learning. It could also involve a sibling, two older, one younger, or siblings in general. And whatever this is about, it also wants to work out. Why? Because there's this beautiful wedge that forms between you with your Saturn wisdom and sage-like knowledge and the dissolving, but also the visionary Neptune. So it's almost like making a dream come true. And it requires you moving through a door or a portal of an unexpected event, information, news, conversation. And the whole thing does kind of flow over here, right, in a looser wedge to Jupiter in the house of romance, children, entrepreneurial businesses. So some of this all intertwines somehow. Thus, I can say unexpected developments that you didn't see coming December 10th and 11th, and you can move with it in a state of flow. You can roll with it. You will roll with it. Then we go on and we talk about December 13th through to the 14th. So the last part of that week. And you'll notice that at that time, Mars is squaring Mars, this guy up here in your career space, reputation space, squaring Neptune. Any delusions, illusions, and fantasies, unrealistic expectations you might have had around career gains and earnings, regarding domicile and home, regarding love, regarding relationship. This is going to be a moment of dispelling your confusion and seeing through the mist of your rose-colored glasses to what is real and what is true. That's the best I can say. The fog rolls back. The defogger is on your windshield. This really kind of goes December 13th until the 15th. So keep that on your timetable. So if you have any illusions about love, a career, where you're supposed to live, whatever it is, delusions and illusions will be remedied at this time. Okay, the third week, December 14th to the 21st, we have a bunch of squares. I should be telling everybody the third week is not so easy. Okay, it's one of the weeks of our month. Watch why. We're going to see the sun squaring and also Venus squaring planets. And the squares are meaning that it feels like we have to make decisions and take actions under stress and duress. That could be one story. And, Mercury, by the way, just to keep you in mind of this, Mercury's moved into Sagittarius here on December 12th, right? He's adding to all the energy up in your 10th house of career, reputation, etc. A lot of change going on up there. That's intense energy. And Mercury will be up there in Sagittarius all the way through, by the way, until January 1st. So you've got a lot of information, news about father figures, career, reputation throughout, December 12th to the end of the month. And did I take a sigh or what? Sun squares Saturn. Sun squares Saturn. And that is a solar figure coming to odds with you, like some authority figure going against what you're trying to realistically decide, create, or want in your life. Could be, it depends. Sometimes people's spouses are the boss of them. It could be a spouse because Mercury's up there. Your spouse is kind of blocking your goals and dreams, getting in the way, telling you what you can and can't do. Or you might find a job situation feeling really intense and you really feel like you have to push back against something. And with Venus up there, still, we can't talk about Venus. She rules romantic love and she rules money. So money and romantic love stretching into some stress points at this point in the chart is a possibility. So you're just going to feel that grit around December 14th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. Like, watch how tight it gets. There's the sun, and we see it building up on the 13th, and we see it getting more and more exact by the time we get here. I lost your sign. By the time we get here, right here. So it's at its apex of intensity on the shock and awe of the tower. December 16th is a tower number. So that's where you feel like, like, can you push through this power struggle or not? Well, let's see what happens. And the sun is the ruler of your 6th house, which is debts and work. So those, and rental properties and stuff like that. So, and dating. So it could be a real wall in the dating world, in the pets, rentals, debts, job, crisis, push, shove. Moving on December 20th and 21st, then the sun squares Neptune. Well, you can see that's going to happen because after squaring Saturn, he will square Neptune. So just trust me on this. You get to that time, December 2021, and we have another intense confrontation between planets. And you can bet your booty it's not comfortable at all. And it could, again, be some frustration around what you thought was real and true, and it turns out to be fantastical and unrealistic in work, career, house, romance, etc. The new moon on December the 19th happens at 28 degrees of Sagittarius. We can see that new moon forming as we move into the time frame of December the 19th. And as this moon will be here on the sun, at 28 degrees of Sagittarius, is going to start fresh anew, a kind of fresh beginning in your career, in your reputation, in your actions in the world. With Venus conjunct this particular moon, a fresh start in your money and finances, as well as a fresh start in love and romance. The new moon can take up to 6 weeks to show you what it's about, but it also can be quite visibly known to you within 2 to 3 weeks after the moon, the main lay of the land, the general understanding of what it's for, new beginnings in the 10th house. And Venus there again can trickle into new money, monetary earnings, beginnings, and also new beginnings when it comes to romantic love and your visible reputation regarding love. The way people see you single, widowed, married, getting married, proposed to, whatever those stories might be for. You see Mars has moved into Capricorn here. He crossed the sign boundary on the 15th, 3 days before the moon, and he'll stay in the sign of Capricorn, happily playing his game of life until January 23rd. January is a big month. Mars will join the sun and Venus will join the sun in Capricorn in January. It's going to be an important month, so tune in. It's big reset buttons. But as Mars is here and going to move through this part of your sky from December 15th through the rest of the month, this is where you start to apply a lot of passionate energy regarding career profitability and gains. And because Mars is also going to be eventually opposite Jupiter, it can also look like some very important changes in your relationship to romance and your children, as well as changes in friendship groups and circles. But we'll get to that more in January. December 20th to 21st, as this new moon is approaching, you'll notice that Venus is squaring Saturn. And that's going to be an issue. Venus, Saturn. Saturn says, endurance, marathon. But with Venus, it's love is hard. In this case, it could be job is hard, making money in your job is hard, or that simply relationship and love for some reason feels like a labor of love, like a marathon, or like a challenge of some kind that you have to perceive it as endurance and persistence. If you meet somebody under this kind of square for the first time, you're baking in a relationship that always feels hard. So I would Venus is under the sun's beams. It's not a good time to start a new relationship either. So keep in mind that an invisible Venus at the top of the sky squaring Saturn, bad for new job starts at that time, December 20th, 21st, bad for new beginnings of new love stories at that time. It's just to be considered a possibility, to consider that as well. If you don't have to go on a first date around Christmas time, right? Hold off on that. And Venus is trining Chiron at the same time around, December 18th to the 20th, trying to heal a wound around resources, self-worth, money, earnings, and career. So, and the sun in the new moon is involving your work house. So there's an opportunity to really heal something that you might have been dealing with since 2019 about finances, career. Could be a new job, could be your coffers are filling up, your wallet, your pocketbook is filling up, but you're doing a lot of hard work in your career or earnings to make it happen as well. Or a love relationship feels difficult because of money issues as well in the relationship as well. And then finally, the last week of the month, we only have two things happening, which is why this is a shorter video than usual. And the two things that we're going to have happen is on December 22nd, we'll notice as we move into the new part of the month, and the 23rd, what happens is Venus squares Neptune. If you've been under any kind of spell of this is my dream job, this is my dream partner, and it has been a spell, and you see this theme running through the month, right? Then that will be disillusionment. That will be like, oh no, this isn't really what I want. This isn't really what I need. And you will, if there's anything unrealistic in those expectations, this is where clarity will be given to you in love, romance, and job and money issues connected to job. And then you'll notice that Mercury squares Saturn. Now, Mercury squaring Saturn is on the, just coming up to New Year's Eve, okay? Mercury squares Saturn, like as we get close to the good old party time here. Mercury squares Saturn on December 30th, 31st. So we'll go December 29th, 30th, and 31st. Mercury, information, news. Saturn, realistic. 10th house, career, reputation, father figures, visible reputation in the world. In that regard, something information-wise may feel difficult, and you might have to grit your teeth and get through it at the end of the month. And I don't even know where to go with it. Just pay attention to information that is difficult. It could also come from a boss or a superior at work, or you apply for a job and you got the news that you got it, but the salary is not your ideal. There's consequences to it, yada, yada. Now, as we said that, we'll notice that as we come to the end of the month, we're getting this pile up in Capricorn. And this is really good for winning money. Venus is looking across the way at the windfalls. She's in the windfalls looking away over at Jupiter. And so winning money, windfalls, lottery tickets begin to become, yes, you can probably get something from this as soon as Venus moves in January 17th into Capricorn. So from January 17th through until, when does Venus move? Sorry, December 24th through to January 17th, December 24th to January 17th, you're capable of a windfall. Your children are capable of producing children. You're capable of conceiving a child with you or your partner, whether you plan to or not. All right, those are things happening. You're also getting a nice glow up in your profitability from your career, your earnings, and your resources at the same time. And when it comes to romantic love and connection, well, yes, but also, Venus is retrograde. There are delays. And so if you're going to begin to have a new relationship, and a friend will introduce you, but you'll be having a delay in the thing getting off the ground, something will delay it, hold it back through till next March. Venus is going to help you in this 11th house redefine your long-range goals and dreams, and you can benefit financially from a sibling one older than you. Those are stories that begin to emerge as Venus goes through this part of your sky, December the 24th through till January 17th. And that's what I've got for you. I hope, Pisces, this made some sense for you. With that South Node transit through your seventh house, existing relationships are tempered and challenged, as well as new relationships are very karmic. I am so blurry. Can I make more light happen to see if I'm less blurry? Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out the all signs bundle. Individual signs will be for sale December 1st for $33. But if you want to get the bundle, which was for sale at $44 till December 1st, you can get all 12 signs for $55. But on January 1st, the price for the rest of next year is $66. For those of you who bought the pre-sale bundle at $44, thank you for supporting my channel's growth. I appreciate you. I can hire staff. I can get better equipment. And that really helps the channel grow, and my scholarship fund as well. Thanks, guys. Ciao, ciao. Good luck, Pisces, for December.